Okay, we're going to finish up chapter 18. Ulysses sat up on his hind legs. He looked at William Spiver, and then at Tooty, and finally he turned his eyes to Flora. He raised his eyebrows and gave her a look full of questions, full of hope. Flora felt a pang of doubt. He was, after all, just a squirrel. She had no proof that he was a superhero. What if there was some other explanation for those words? Also, there was Tooty's disturbing point to consider. What kind of superhero types? And then she thought about Alfred. How everyone doubted him. How no one, except the parakeet Dolores, knew that he was in Candesto. And how no one, except Dolores, truly believed in him. Was it Flora's job to believe in Ulysses? And what did that make her? A parakeet? "Let me get this straight," said William Spiver. "You, a self-professed cynic, are positing that the squirrel is a superhero." The words "do not hope," instead observe, flitted through Flora's brain. She took a deep breath. She brushed the phrase away. "The squirrel typed those words," she said. "Well," said William Spiver, whose hand was still on Flora's shoulder. "Why didn't he move his hand?" "Let's just approach this scientifically. We'll put the squirrel in front of Great Aunt Tooty's computer and we'll ask him to type. Again." Chapter 19. The Inadvertent Eye. He sat in front of the machine. It was different from Flora's mother's typewriter. There was a blank screen instead of paper, and the whole contraption glowed, emitting a warm but not entirely friendly smell. The keyboard was familiar, though. Each of the letters was there, each of them in the same place. Flora and Tooty stood behind him, and William Spiver, the boy with dark glasses, stood behind him too. This was an important moment. Ulysses understood that very well. Everything depended on him typing something. He had to do it for Flora. His whiskers trembled. He could feel them trembling. He could see them trembling. What could he do? He turned and sniffed his tail. There was nothing he could do except to be himself, to try to make the letters on the keyboard speak the truth of his heart, to work to make them reveal the essence of the squirrel he was. But what was the truth? And what kind of squirrel was he? He looked around the room. There was a tall window, and outside the window was the green, green world and the blue sky. Inside there were shelves and shelves of books, and on the wall above the keyboard was a picture of a man and woman floating over a city. They were suspended in a golden light. The man was holding the woman, and she had one arm flung out in front of her as if she were pointing the way home. Ulysses liked the woman's face. She reminded him of Flora. Looking at the painting made the squirrel feel warm inside, certain of something. Whoever had painted the picture loved the floating man and the floating woman. He loved the city they floated above. He loved the golden light. Just as Ulysses loved the green world outside, and the blue sky, and Flora's round head, his whiskers stopped trembling. "What's happening?" asked William Spiver. "Nothing," said Flora. "He's gone into some kind of trance," said Tooty. "Shh," said Flora. Ulysses inched closer to the keyboard. Oops. It was beautiful to the squirrel to see a letter appear out of nowhere. Well, what is it? What's the letter? It's an I, William Spiver. But that proves nothing, of course. Anyone can inadvertently hit an I. You don't have to be a superhero to type an I. Would you please hush up, William? The squirrel typed. The people waited. Destiny bestirred itself. Chapter 20. What it said. I love your round head, the brilliant green, the watching blue, these letters, this world, you. I am very, very hungry. Oh, Ulysses. Chapter 21. Poetry. They were sitting in Tootie's office. Tootie was on the couch with a package of frozen peas on her head. She had fainted. Unfortunately, she had hit her head on the edge of the desk on the way down. Fortunately, Flora had remembered an issue of Terrible Things Can Happen to You, advertising that a bag of frozen peas made an excellent cold compress to provide comfort and reduce swelling. Read it one more time, said William Spiver to Flora. Flora read Ulysses's words aloud again. The squirrel wrote poetry, said Tootie in a voice filled with wonder. Keep those peas on your head, said Flora. I don't get the last part, said William Spiver. The part about hunger. What does that mean? Flora turned away from the computer and looked at William Spiver's dark glasses and saw, again, her round-headed, pajamaed self reflected there. It means he's hungry, she said. He hasn't had any breakfast. Oh, said William Spiver. I see. It's literal. Ulysses was sitting on his hind legs beside the computer. He nodded hopefully. It's poetry, said Tootie from the couch. Ulysses puffed out his chest the tiniest bit. Well, it might be poetry, said William Spiver, but it's not great poetry. It's not even good poetry. But what does this all mean? Said Tootie. Why does it have to mean something? Said William Spiver. The universe is a random place. Oh, for heaven's sake, William, said Tootie. Flora felt something well up inside of her. What was it? Pride in the squirrel? Annoyance at William Spiver? Wonder? Hope? Suddenly she remembered the words that appeared over Alfred T. Slipper's head when he was submerged in the vat of incandesto. Do you doubt him? Do not. Do you doubt him? Said Flora. Of course I doubt him, said William Spiver. Do not, said Flora. Why? Said William Spiver. She stared at him. Take off your glasses, she said. I want to see your eyes. No, said William Spiver. Take them off. I won't. Children, said Tootie, please. Who was William Spiver really? We'll have to find out next time.